Hi, I'm Robin from 4Art Club with Blender tutorials for beginners. The aim is to take the frustration out of creating to discover the joy of being a contributor. The first thing an artist needs to understand is how to see. How little of what we see is retained, of what we hear remembered. Blender exercises your mind. Using 1, 2, 3 and X, Y, Z, you can open up new dimensions. I am uniquely qualified to address these issues, as I will explain later. Keep watching and join my journey into a world of enlightenment. Blender 4.3 Viewport settings is the first video in the series, optimized to make following along simple and straightforward. Let's get started. In the top bar, go to Edit, Preferences, Interface. Just follow the white highlights to increase the resolution scale. You can type in a value or use the value input as a slider. For the purpose of clarity, I will set the resolution to 1.50. Below this, there is a line width drop-down. Set this to thick, giving the grid lines and axes more definition. Next, go to Themes. You will see a small drop-down menu headed with Blender Dark. Select Blender Light. You will instantly notice an improvement in contrast and definition. To enhance this effect, expand the 3D Viewport option. Go to 3D Viewport, Theme Space, Gradient Colors. Open the drop-down and from the background type, select Single Color. To open the Viewport Background Color Picker, click on the panel next to Gradient High/Off. I chose to leave the color picker centered and just use the slider to lighten to grey. Moving the small white circle in the center of the color wheel gives you the option to change the color. The first option in the 3D Viewport tab is Grid. Click on the panel to open the Grid Color Picker. Again, you could pick a color. I prefer to make the grid white. Now, the grid and the axis lines are more visible. When you have the viewport and settings you want, go to Save and Load. Here you can check Auto Save Preferences. Click on Save Preferences below, just for good measure. New projects will now use your saved preferences. Check my Google Docs for more information. My Blender tutorials utilize color-coded highlights. I will explain later. Enough to say that Blender's modifiers and aspect controls that appear in the Properties panels, I have highlighted in green. There are other Properties panels. Note, modifiers and assets adjusted in Blender automatically adjust all the Properties panels. This is almost always true and is great when you know what's going on. In the Properties panel Scene Properties, you have the opportunity to change the units of measurement. The scale is set to 1. I prefer to change the length from meters to millimeters. Fractions of a meter simply add an unnecessary level of complication to doing maths. To me, 10 millimeters is easier than 0.01 meters. My notes have additional information on how you can configure and save a startup file to save any adjustments you have made to attributes, panels, or your initial mesh. For example, to make a new Blender file open with a different mesh. Go shortcut Shift X and delete to delete a mesh. Then shortcut Shift A to add a new mesh. Let's add a monkey. So now, File, Default, Save, Startup File. Doesn't work until you have saved the .blend file. So go to File, Save As, or shortcut Shift Command S, and then select a folder. Add a meaningful name before the .blend file extension and click save as. Now you have a .blend file. So startup file. To save a startup file, go to File, Defaults, Save Startup File. Now when you start a new project, all your settings, property attributes, panel sizes and startup mesh will be loaded for you. Repeat the process to overwrite. The next video in the series will be navigation. Google Docs. My notes are shared in Google Docs and are free to you on request, or check out my Patreon for updated edits, new additions and highlights. Blender is a superb piece of free open source software for 2 and 3D modeling. I started making these videos to help myself and slow down my dementia. I needed videos that are clearer and memorable. These adjustments to my viewport and added highlights were designed so I could get the most out of Blender. You choose light mode and thick lines, or dark mode and indiscernible. Thanks for watching. Apparently, liking, subscribing and sharing are things that you can do to help me get the message out. There's plenty to look forward to, so give me a thumbs up if you think I've made sense, and subscribe to join me and my friend Suzanne on a voyage of discovery. My thanks for your help, and to all the contributors whose shoulders I have climbed on. Liking, subscribing and sharing this video is a simple act of kindness. To offer support, go to my Patreon page. Thanks for watching, stay well, feed your mind, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.